Is that always?
I thought it was me, but it's one of the mic.
Holy Mother of Teresa.
Star Wars.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please call the roll.
Supervisor Quigley,
Here.
Councilman Van Cleef.
Here.
Councilman Secretto.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Hayner. Here. Councilwoman DeGroot.
Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the safety announcements, please note the fire exits are to your rear over there and out the front door, as well as through this door down the hall. Should there be an issue in evacuating the building, please do so in an orderly manner. Thank you. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Thank you. I have left off the appointment of the chairman of the zoning board during the organizational meeting continuation. Public discussion on agenda items outside of the public hearing tonight. At 7:10, we have a public hearing on a special use permit. We will be asking the developer to make a short presentation prior to the public hearing in order to get the information out to the community so that the people can understand what's going on. Anyone on public comment on agenda items? None? Thank you. Members of the board, in your package are the written town board minutes for the workshop meeting of December 5th, the special meeting of December 17th, and the regular town board meeting of December 19th. I ask for a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Are there any changes or modifications so desired? Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Communications, please.
I have one communication this evening, and coincidentally, it was received today in a resident's tax bill. Greetings. Along with my payment, I once again feel compelled to express my concerns over the terrible condition of Ulster Avenue from McDonald's to Walmart. Even though by phone you've made it clear that the road is managed by New York State DOT, I'm thinking since we pay taxes to you, you could in good faith represent us by demanding they fix the road. After all, I initially expressed my notice of condition beginning in 2010. While we were at it, the old IBM complex in the Hudson Valley Mall has been dinosaurs for too many decades. Seems to me it isn't proactive in Ulster County's affairs. Sincerely, Mr. Carchidi.
Thank you. There are two actions that can be taken on that matter. One is that that issue can be raised at the Ulster County Transportation meeting at the next scheduled meeting. And I will also take and convey those feelings to the chairman of the Ulster County Transportation Council directly. Are there any other communications?
No.
Thank you. Controller's abstract of claims, Mr. Van Cleek.
We were presented with the abstract of claims for the month of December. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 check runs and 2 wire transfer runs. The total amount came to $1,470,475.51, of which $552,952 was part of the south water storage, the water storage replacement. So that is a report for the month of December. For January, there was there were 2 check runs, one on 1/2 and one on 1/16, but then today, and a wire run for a total of $694,685.64. There was nothing of any unusual nature on that report.
May I have a motion to accept the report as presented? I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to department head reports. Mr. Rose for the water department.
It was a busy year for Ulster Water. We had 13 mainline water breaks, 1 service leak, 586 service calls, 459 markouts. Some of the highlights for 2024, we painted most of the Ulster Water Plant, replaced most of the brine injection system at the Ulster Water Plant, replaced all the filter probes at Ulster, replaced all 3 rinse valves at the plant, cleaned the filter waste tank, installed a new fire hydrant on Parkside Drive in Halcyon Park. We replaced the media in the Halcyon Park filter, which was 36 years old. Some additions to the system was a construction connection of Travel Plaza.
No, it's ours, it just did it by itself.
The construction of the Ulster Travel Plaza to the Halcyon Park Water District, the extension of the Cherry Hill Water District to the west side of the way for the Relco project. All testing was completed in all districts with no violations. Last but not least, well number 2 in Halcyon Park was just redeveloped last week with all good results. Also at this time, I would like to thank my staff, Frank, Susie, Warren, Vinny, and for all their assistance throughout the year. Greatly appreciated.
Questions from the board? I have one question. The replacement of the filter media at the Ulster,
Still have no time frame yet.
in other words,
Can't do it this time of the year anyway.
the materials are still in a container on the sea somewhere?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You mean like in an ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming in from outside the country. Mr. Majori?
Good evening, everybody. For Town of Ulster Sewer Districts, employees are doing well. We're short 1 operator trainee currently. That's going to be another challenge to try to fill, but we're going to be working on it. Ulster, we had some major projects for 2024. We completed the UV project, which was a huge undertaking on a very tight time crunch. That got done and got started up on May 1st when it was required to start up. I'd like to thank a bunch of people. Number 1, the Town of Ulster sewer employees. We did a lot of the mechanical work to that and the demolition work of the old system. That was key in getting that system implemented on time. Kester Associates for standing by the town all the way until completion. Venera Larios, LHV, Ham, they all pulled together and we got what they said couldn't be done on time. So that was huge. Asset management project, we're about 80% complete with that. That's a New York State grant project to get the town's sewer districts in a program that can look to the future and plan financially to the future, equipment lifespans for the future, and it gives us good guidance. So there's a lot of stuff like asset inventory and GIS locating, that's already been completed. So we're moving along on that. Flow study, we're doing an in-house flow study, mainly focusing on the 9W corridor. That's data's coming in and everything's working good there. Whittier, we replaced some scum baffles with a new Kydex style sheeting material that replaced 1985 aluminum sheeting. We did one tank, we're gonna be doing a second tank soon as the weather warms up a little bit. What else? We got Washington Avenue, the sewer line extension to the Rupco project and the west side of the thruway is nearing completion. The pump station's ongoing yet, but sewer line, the force main is getting there. They were still working on the thruway crossing this morning when I checked on it. So, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks for the good
I
job,
know.
man.
How you making out with the, digester system?
Digester's moving along well. We have preliminary DEC lettering, letters in with a plan for replacement. That's nearing a submittal for an acceptance from DEC. So everything's moving along as fast as it can.
So you picked the process that you're gonna wanna use now?
We have this, yes, the same technology that we've been looking at all along.
Same with that?
Seems to be the best fit. There was due diligence done on sticking with the same technology that we currently have. That would drive the cost of this whole project up to over $18 million. So the technology that we're looking at is the only thing that fits in the footprint with minimal upgrades or existing structures needed. And the only existing structure needed is going to be a biofilter. And that can potentially be solved through an LHV precasting or multiple precastings, but an LHV designed structure, so to speak, tankage wise. So pretty quick install and it'll be a nice project, should fit, should give us years of service with a lot of room for any expansion needed for the district. So we're not going to be, pinned down to something that's barely making, So,
This will not be a bottleneck.
yes, correct.
The second project that follows on behind the digester.
Would be this secondary biological process. Our current process is from 1999. It's called, the technology is submerged biological contactors. To my knowledge, right now, we are the only sewer district that still has that technology in operation. So that's nearing the end of its service life. And we're looking at a couple different options for replacing that technology. We got, again, the focus is trying to not rebuild a whole plant. It's very expensive to rebuild a plant. So if we can fit a new technology in the tankage that's already existing, that keeps the cost down and, new systems are potentially better efficient and can fit there and not, again, bottleneck us down or reduce our, growth in any way.
You say we're the only ones, are we the only ones in New York State, or we the only ones
country.
in the United?
States.
We're the only ones left.
Yeah,
that
there
have
was,
this.
there was not many systems of this technology ever implemented. There are only around a dozen, to my knowledge. The technology is based off of an RBC, which is a rotating biological contactor, which is electric driven by a motor and a gearbox. This is air driven by big giant compressors. So it gives us the ability to manipulate the oxygen levels in the tanks to better suit our treatment needs. But it's not a technology that exploded like they hoped it did back in the 90s.
Any additional questions?
No.
Thank you. The Highway Superintendent, Mr. Petremont.
Good evening, everybody. Well, as far as our employees, we had a few that retired last year, and we have some more that are going this year. I'd like to thank the ones that are retiring. One's going in April and one's going in February. Both of those jobs are posted, and we are seeking an auto mechanic and a truck driver. In 2024, we received a John Deere tractor, that's used for roadside mowing. We also received the new F-350 utility truck and a brand new paver. All those units are working quite well. We are currently waiting to pick up 2 new Western Star dump trucks, single axle plow trucks. I was hoping to go up today to get them, but they'll probably be more like Tuesday and Wednesday. We've been waiting for a couple of years. Actually, if it was March 3rd, it'd be 3 years that we were waited to get these trucks since we ordered them. Hopefully that'll turn around and the next trucks will be a lot less. We're currently waiting for a 10-wheel dump truck that's due for summertime, and a new blacktop roll that should be here in a couple of weeks. In 2024, we put down roughly $700,000 worth of blacktop. That equals out to 7 miles of roadway, amounting to about 8,000 ton of blacktop for this past season. We'll be working on a list for 2005, and once that list is complete for the roads that we're doing, we'll be posting that on our website. We continue to regularly maintain our stormwater infrastructure by rebuilding, cleaning, and replacing catch basins and culvert pipes as needed. We continue to do our popular year-round leaf pickup in the fall and our brush pickup year-round. And also we sweep the roads generally 2 to 3 times a year. Winter maintenance, once again, we continue to have a rotating 2-man crew work a 3 to 11 shift and 2 other ones that work 11 to 7 shift. This runs from January 1st till usually March 2nd. Hopefully the weather's changed by then. For the calendar year of 2024, we had 13 storm events totaling 24 inches of snow. If I could just make this mention for our residents, please do not park on the road until the roads are clean, plowed, and it's passable. We really have a problem this year with cars parked on the roadway overnight. And that's mainly, it hasn't been a big issue for everybody because we're having 1-inch storms or 1.5-inch storms. But if we get snow like we used to, there's gonna be a lot of cars that are gonna be buried in the middle of the road. So we appreciate it if the public can keep the vehicles off the roadway. Transportation, everything's running well. The new permits and coupons are available at both the town hall, at the clerk's office, and at the transfer station on the 2 days that they're open. We're currently evaluating what maintenance or upgrade needs to be done in Ryder Park, Post Park, and all the other mini parks. Closing, I'd like to thank all other department heads and their employees for their assistance given to the highway department throughout the year. Without us working together, it just wouldn't function as well as it does. Also like to thank all the employees that are planning on retire. I know there's a couple or 2 or 3 that are retiring in 2025, other than the highway employees. And I'd like to thank them for all their assistance they've given the town. I'd like to thank the supervisor and the town board members for your continued support to the highway department. And finally, to the employees of the highway department, thanks for making my job enjoyable, and your dedication and hard work doesn't go unnoticed. I couldn't be successful if it wasn't for my crew. Thank you.
Any questions? When spring?
What's that?
When's spring?
Well, I'll be in St. Martin's in February, so it'll be spring then. Happy spring.
Mr. Sabia, for the assessor's office?
Members, supervisor. The assessor's office follows the New York State property tax calendar, which runs from July 1st to June 30th. So we're currently halfway through that cycle. So starting from January 1st, a quick comprehensive breakdown. We had sent out, working towards the 2024 assessment roll. We had sent out all property tax exemption renewal applications and contacted all property owners for necessary information and before the applications in a timely manner before March 1st. So that is our focus in that period of time. Also conducting inspections, property inspections for all active permits, recently closed permits, and certificate of occupancies. Beyond March 1st to May 1st, we are focusing on filing the 2024 assessment roll, and that's the tentative roll. So we are processing applications in that period of time and reaching out to property owners for necessary information. Also, we are continually collaborating with the building department to verify status of all properties as of March 1st, finalized for the assessment roll. From May 1st to July 1st, we're working towards finalizing the 2024 final roll. So we had conducted grievance day with the Board of Assessment Review in preparation for Board of Assessment Review, receiving claims, potential negotiation to resolve claims, administrating all Board of Assessment Review determinations, as well as tax certiorari administration in coordination in conjunction with outside counsel and valuation consultant and appraisers. The result of small claims this year, 7 properties filed under small claims review, and all were resolved with in-house valuation. So there was no consultation necessary for external consultants. We finalized the 2024 assessment roll and move forward. We're currently working on the 2025. So we have from September, from that period of time after finalizing the roll, we're working on 2025. In addition to completing the similar processes for the 2025 roll, sending out the renewal applications for 2025, contacting property owners, and continuing to verify the status of all properties for the now March 1st deadline. We had created the townwide reassessment RFP with New York State Office of Real Property Tax Services. And most of this is repetitive within the property tax calendar cycle. So, our deadlines and our tasks are pretty much aligned with, each year. So currently getting all of the applications for to meet taxable status date, which is as of March 1st, is our high priority right now. So we're contacting property owners and continuing to work with the building department and verify status of all properties. And we had updated the pilot billing system and spreadsheet and communicated with the town comptroller regarding payments received and outstanding. And currently, we had outreach and coordination with cooperation with Ulster County and local fire departments to administer the RPTL 466 firefighters exemption. And currently are working, we had requested from civil service list for the current vacancy within the department for the senior database clerk position, typist position. So we are currently setting up interviews, and that is our projection for the new year. So we do have 3 interested candidates, and we'll be setting up interviews with the assessor and myself for the end of January, and then making a further recommendation for the 1 candidate after that interview. So that's what we're currently.
Any questions for Mr. Sabia? I'd like it to be noted that Councilman Secreto's wife, Mary Secreto, a longtime town employee for in excess of 20 years, was the principal clerk and assistant to Mr. Sabia up until her retirement on last Friday. You are working under quite a handicap now. But I do want to thank Mr. Secreto for allowing his wife to come back part-time at her convenience.
Thanks for sending her home to me now.
But I wish you would convey the town's appreciation to her on behalf of the town board for her years of service to the town.
Do that.
Thank you, Mr. Sabia.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, man.
Yes, thank you.
Chief Berardi?
Good evening, Town Board. Obviously Frank and John left because they're afraid I was gonna show them up. So 2024, I just started my 8th year as the police chief of the Town of Ulster Police Department. I work with some of the finest men and women in law enforcement, and I'll say I'm partial, but they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for me, and they make my job as great as it is. 2024 was a successful year. We handled 15,144 calls for service. It was a minus 1% decrease from last year, so not very much at all. Handled 801 accidents. That's a 0.3% increase. Actually, I had one officer that handled 122 accidents himself in 2024. So just imagine how much paper that created. 579 arrests, we're down about 4%. 45 DWI arrests, we're up 32%. Tickets, 2,439, we're up 48%. Detective cases, 235, we're up 47%. Training, 2,808 hours. That includes our 2 in-service training cycles as well as outside training that we participate in. That's 98% increase. We were able to increase that from last year due to increase in part-time staffing. So we're able to cover our shift with part-timers in order to send other members to training. We're not all about work. Obviously, we participate in numerous community events. We participated in numerous child safe ID events, several coffee with a cop events, career and job fairs at Kingston High School, Citizens Academy hosted by the Ulster County Sheriff's Office. We participated in 2 elementary school field days, initiated the community project up to the Kingston Motel, and we ended the last year's with delivery of 66 bags of presents with help of Santa Claus, who's present in the room here. So that was 66 bags of presents we distributed, my staff and I, to members of the Kingston Motel community up there. We hosted our Cops and Cones event with support of the Jolly Cow, summer camp demo, Help Bag the Hunger event, Toys for Tots we participated in, Touch a Truck events, Unity basketball tournament hosted by the Ulster County District Attorney's Office, spearheaded a Paint the Town Pink breast cancer awareness initiative, numerous trunk or treat events, and 2 holiday events in December. During the 2024, we promoted a new sergeant, a new detective, and retired 1 detective. We remodeled our administrative offices that haven't been remodeled in 17 years, and also remodeled our communication center, which has been 15 years since the last time it was remodeled. Obviously, our communication division is never vacant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that was quite the task to keep them operational the entire time while trying to paint and spackle and things like that. Questions, concerns?
Aren't you down by 4 officers?
And we did all that down by 4 officers.
Thank you.
So I
I
gotta,
remembered what we had before.
exceptionally thank my people who've been working extra hard this year. I want to thank the board's support over the years. Obviously, We have spoken about it at a lot of meetings, hiring additional staffing. Part-timers and full-timers have made it easier to, curtail, openings and such. And, we look forward to moving on to this year.
Any questions for Chief Berardi?
Why do you think the DWI was up so high?
More people
It's a
drink.
it's a two-part thing, I would say. One, you get younger officers that are more aggressive and eager. So that kind of rises the numbers a little bit. I hope there's not that many more people on the roads, but unfortunately, some people don't learn the lesson by reading about their friends in the paper, so. Better alcohol?
Thank you, staff, you
Thank-
and your staff, thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
And I'll end with, my department heads. Obviously, they're, a great group of people. I kind of came into it, as a new kid. They were already kind of in their places, so they definitely, welcomed me and we get along great. So I can't thank them enough for the relationship we have.
Thank you. The building department head, Mr. Tutt, is out sick this week with the flu. Ms. Hay, would you be willing to give his report for him? No. Ms. Sweeney for the Office of the Controller.
Good evening, board members, supervisor. I just want to first start off by applauding everybody here in this room because it just means a lot seeing so many people that want to know about their community. And you are all engaged and it's just a pleasure. As far as my employees, since everybody else decided to start that way, I have none. But I will say for the supervisor's office, we are a very busy office. There is not pretty much a minute that goes by that somebody is not working. So I will start off with the cyber attack. Since the cyber attack, the amount of hours that Peggy has put in payroll, and I'll speak for her just for a second, was not done unrecognized. She worked extremely hard. W-2s went out on time. She's working on 1099s right now. It's just amazing the amount of data that was lost and the data that she could actually recover and get into the system. Nancy, again, every day is putting more and more information into the system. Just today realized that, again, something else came up from the data that was lost. And that's all the employees' records that she now has to put in from 23 through 24. Let's see, where am I guess I'll start with the earned interest, and supervisor, please correct me if I'm wrong. But starting with the earned interest for the year to date, we have collected $1,223,000.51 estimated, but pretty close to. We had 3 CDs mature, and we have now rolled those into new CDs, and along with putting more money into NILA to continue to diversify our funds. Our operating expenses to date, 18,456,623, $6,409,000 of that is payroll. We had $12,046,670 worth of vouchers that were actually data keyed into the system. Nancy pretty much doing the front end of that. And of course, approving it between myself and the supervisor. Our capital expenses to date were about $206 million of expenses. The 4 top are Rupco, South Water Park, the UV upgrade, and Orlando Street. Rupco at $800,992, The south water tank, 948,000. The UV upgrade, 743,000, and Orlando Street is at 144,000. And we continue to get reimbursed from the sub-award through Ulster County for those, and I don't have those numbers. We were working on the financial software upgrade. That is on hold right now with the cyber attack and still continuing to enter data, and we needed to put that on hold. The supervisor and I had spoke about that. We're continuing to work with following our procurement policies specifically, and then also moving into our fixed asset policy. Our bank recs are up to date through December, with the exception of one account. We are continuing to now accrue expenses and revenues for 2024. So we will not close the year out until the end of February into March. We will have our audit, so we will have much more adjustments to do at that time. Also, budget transfers and modifications, it was on the agenda. It's just a routine thing that continues to be on the agenda. But there really is no sense to do one now when we know that we're still doing these accrued expenses and revenues that go back, such as fuel expense. We're not going to make a modification for fuel expenses when we're getting reimbursed from different districts and different funds. Next meeting, I'm hoping to have a supervisor's report. Again, this could change. Like, I'll do it through December, but with all of the accruals and the adjustments, those December numbers can continue to change. We're getting ready for our annual audit. It will be in person this year, I believe. And I just wanted to say, I look forward to working with new staff coming into the town. I know there's going to be a lot of training and some bumps in the road. And I just want to say thank you again for providing me to serve the town and the community as a comptroller. I enjoy working with the department heads and other staff. And last but not least, to continue to be mentored by Supervisor Quigley. I appreciate you and what you do for the town. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Sweeney? Thank you very much. Ms. Reevy, while you are an elected official, but you are also a department head,
Same as Frank.
the face of the town now.
As I have said before, I will say it again, town clerk's office is like the corner of Morton Boulevard and Boyce's Lane. It's the stewards of the town hall.
Where are you putting the coffee in?
Coffee is brewing. We have a Keurig. If anyone wants coffee, please come by. Regarding the town clerk's office, we have Melanie, Deputy Town Clerk Melanie Riker and I, and one part-timer, Alyssa. I submit monthly reports to the town board each month. As you know, the town board approves them. But the total monthly report for fees collected in 2024, $726,000. In addition to our normal course of daily business, we have coordinated events together with the Recreation Committee, held a senior picnic, held a senior bus trip. We coordinated with Ulster County Clerk's Office for a passport night for county residents. That was in June. I know we're only doing the last quarter of the year here. We attended several training meetings with other town clerks across the county, the New York State Department of Health, New York State Gaming Commission, and Ulster County Department of Finance. Just to follow up on the cyber attack, following the September cyber attack, we have moved to go cloud-based with our records management program. Our appointment with the vendor was on January 22nd. We scheduled it in October. Regarding the Office of the Tax Collector, in 2023, we found out that the county wanted to replace our software program. And then a year and a half later, August of 24, the county offered each town the opportunity to lock into a bulk rate fee, which the county would pay for. The town board voted on that a few months ago to implement the software, which we now have in place. We're collecting the 2025 county and town property taxes the software we are using now. And I want to remind the public that on our town website is a link to that new system. Tax bills are public information, so you can look up your bill, the status of your bill, your neighbor, anyone else. Bills and payment status are live, so as we're entering payments, the information changes on that site. You can view the status of any bill. Regarding the town board, I, as the town clerk, serve as the recording secretary of the town board. And in 2024, the town board held 27 meetings and voted on 431 motions and or resolutions. I want to thank my staff and all the town departments. This is, reiterated, but it's very, very important how well we all get along and can rely on each other. Everyone is always a phone call away, and that speaks for the town board and supervisor as well. A phone call or a text away. Just as an example, the end of 2024, I wanted to discuss and recreate the application process for our town hawker peddlers permit. I contacted Warren, the building inspector, and Kyle Ferrari, the police chief, and then within 2 days, we had a meeting scheduled. And we discussed it and revamped it, and I'll be putting that out on the website. Of course, the town code is what we have to go by, but with the spring coming and vendors out there knocking on doors, I want to make sure our residents are protected and know the law regarding peddling and vending in the town.
Thank you very much. That concludes the Town of Ulster Department Heads Report for year ending December 31st, 2024. Moving on to our agenda, we had a public hearing scheduled for 7:10. It is 7:40. Ms. Feldman, would you like to set up your easel and make a presentation to the town board so that they understand the project that is proposed? And if there is a way that you could tilt it so that the audience could also see it by putting it maybe in the corner over there? Yeah, you got to turn it on. Yes,
Yes, I can set this up in that corner in there.
right.
Facing this way.
Yeah, and then just give it a twirl around for us so that we can see it at some point.
I have a couple different sheets, but just to start.
Okay.
there. Can I move it closer?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I am Olivia Feldman with Lightstar. I'm here to introduce the project for those who have not yet heard about it and get some public input as well. Sorry that I'm not facing this way as well, but hi, everyone. So I've also got Kyle Bardwell here with me from Lavella up in the front, and Lavella is our consulting company and also engineering firm. So he can help answer some of the specific questions that come up. Just for some quick personal background, I'm from Olive Bridge, which is a couple of towns over, as you know. I went to the College of Environmental Science and Forestry in Syracuse, and now I'm back in the area working with Lightstar. So for this project in particular, it's a community solar project. It's north of Route 209, which is this road there to the south. It's south of Titan Bridge Road, and it is east of Carl Terrace and east of the Romeo Kia. The landowner here is Cheryl Scott. She was here at previous meetings, but she couldn't attend tonight. She's on the plane. But we have her sisters Stacy and Deb here tonight as well. They're also landowners, so thank you for attending. We had submitted our site plan and special use permit application back in October of this year. I presented to the planning board in November, and we had a town board meeting in December, and now here we are for the public hearing. So some quick high level about Lightstar as a company. We develop, build, own, and operate community solar projects that do a combination of things. They benefit the landowners on which they're sited. They and benefit the land itself that they're sited on, and they also benefit the environment as a whole and the local communities that they're sited within. So These types of projects allow community subscribers to purchase energy at a discounted rate. And of course, it's renewable energy, and these types of projects make renewable energy accessible to those who might not otherwise be able to install solar panels on their properties or on their roofs, or those who are renting, or businesses that don't have room for it. Also, there would be some tax revenue to the town through the pilot program. And overall, this is a temporary project. This is not a permanent conversion of the land here. This is, has a lifespan of, 25 to 35 years, with the option to be decommissioned at that point. And we'll set up a decommissioning plan and agreement and all of that. So this is a relatively, medium-term commitment that we're talking about here for the land. I have FAQ sheets that I brought with me, and I'll place them up here. If anyone's interested. And I'm also happy to answer questions at the end as well. So for the project itself, it's a 68-acre parcel. And the lease area, so within that parcel, the lease area that we are leasing itself is 42.8 acres. And the limit of disturbance is 26.25 acres. Sheet is high-level overview of the project. I know it's black and white, but we do have the next few sheets have aerial imagery. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Overlaid, so you can see how the design relates with the land itself there. Since it's kind of an oblong project, I had to split it into two sheets, and that's why you see the two different, the top and the bottom. That's just a noting on the next two pages how the design is split. So this is a mostly forested site. There are going to be 24 acres of tree clearing here. And that is out of the 68-acre parcel, 24 acres would be cleared, which is about a third of it. And it's in the RC district, which is the region commercial district. For the most part, there are little slivers of it that are in the R10 and R60 districts, but for the most part, it's region commercial. The panels would be are proposed as tracking panels, which means that I know it looks like just strips that are going north and south, but that's because they're going to follow the sun throughout the day. So they'll start in the morning, kind of oriented to the east, and then they'll track the sun throughout the day and end it facing more to the west. Environmentally on this site, we had a wetland delineation done by Labella. There are 5 wetlands, 2 streams. We're avoiding impacts to all. So we took care, as you might see, this whole area here is the lease area, and we took care to avoid all of the wetlands that were delineated on the site, and that's why that's such an important part of the process. Is we kept everything outside of that so that we won't be impacting those features. Culturally, part of the site in the southwest is located within a culturally sensitive area, but it is just at the very southwest. So we've been coordinating with the New York State Cultural Resources Information System, and they have noted that they would like a 50-foot buffer adhered to, and we are currently modifying the design to just change a bit of the fencing so that we are outside of that 50-foot buffer. In terms of protected species, we've been doing our consultations with the Department of Environmental Conservation and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The DEC, our conversations with that resulted in, we understand that there is a nest located near the site. I cannot disclose the exact location of that, just due to it being a protected spot. But we have been in close coordination with the DEC. We have sent them these designs, and they have agreed that there will be no take of bald eagle. So there is a 660-foot protected buffer from the nests, Or from the One Nest, and we are outside of that in terms of project impacts, so no impacts to bald eagle or any other state listed species. The Fish and Wildlife also agreed that there are no adverse effects expected to any species at all. And that's kind of a high level summary. I can flip to the other pages if you all would like to see the aerial imagery to see how that overlays, if that's helpful, but otherwise, that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, I'd like to open then the floor for public comment and, you can talk to people in the back, Olivia, and answer their questions outside of the room, because I want to give, this is a matter of developing a public record and getting public input. And, we will move forward from there. So with that being said, may I have a motion to open the public hearing? A second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Lucarini, you have your hand up. You want to be first. So the rules are, for those of you who have not been here, we ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less and start out by identifying yourself for the record. Could you remove the easel, please? Thank you, because I can't see anybody behind it who might want to be recognized to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and town board members. My name is Vicki Lucarini. I live at 170 Ledge Road in the town of Ulster. I am against granting Titan Bridge PV's LLC or Lightstar Renewables a special use permit to establish a solar array on 42.8 acres of land, of which 26 or 24 acres of trees would be clear cut for the following reasons. By granting the permit, you are going against the Town of Ulster Comprehensive Plan, which was adopted in 2007 and identifies the area as a natural resource not to be developed. The Scenic Hudson Solar Mapping Tool also identifies this area as prime forested area not to be considered for solar development. The possible accumulative effect of two projects, this project and the 9W multifamily development on the same bridge, could result in clear cutting about 100 acres of forest identified as a prime natural resource. The following information came from the Arbor Foundation, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Nature Conservancy, and provides good reason why we should not be cutting down any more trees. Trees play an important role in our world. They clean our air. More specifically, they filter the air by reducing the effects of particulate matter or particulate pollution that cause lung cancer and heart disease. Trees prevent soil erosion through their roots and canopy by shielding the soil from moving water, hard rain, and strong winds. When trees are cut down, the soil is exposed to these elements, causing erosion. This in turn causes the soil to release the carbon it holds into the atmosphere, which is what we're trying to avoid. Trees play an important role in the water cycle. When water falls to the ground through rain, snow, or fog, it is not only absorbed through streams and aquifers, it is also absorbed through tree roots. What water the tree does not use will evaporate through its leaves or needles back into the atmosphere for more rain, snow, or fog to develop. Cutting down large amounts of trees disrupts the water cycle and impacts the amount of rain, which can lead to drought. While a solar array prevents carbon emissions from being released into the atmosphere by generating electricity through without burning fossil fuels, it cannot remove carbon from the atmosphere and replace it with the oxygen we all need to breathe. According to the U.S. Forest Service, one large tree provides enough oxygen for 4 people in 1 day. The Sierra Club states a mature tree of 30 years old can sequester 500 to 1,900 pounds of carbon a year and more as each year passes. Research by the Harvard University states clean energy like wind, solar are not enough to meet our climate goals. Removing carbon from the atmosphere is just as important. And how about all the carbon that will be released into the atmosphere by cutting down 26 acres or 24 acres of trees, or possibly 100 acres if both projects are approved? So I asked, why are we cutting down acres of trees for a solar array? Does this make sense? Trees and solar are partners in our fight against climate change. I urge the town board not to issue this special use permit, but instead adopt policies encourage development of solar on commercial rooftops, parking lot canopies, former mines, mine sites, and other existing open spaces. If you would like assistance in finding model policies, I will be happy to assist.
Thank you. Who's next? Can I see a hand? Ms. Hartman?
Good evening. Thank you very much. On behalf of Laura Hartman, 44 Catskill Avenue, in the town of Ulster. On behalf of townofulstercitizens.org, I am asking the town board not to approve the solar farm project. One of the primary reasons is that our comprehensive plan is significantly outdated, lacking any references to these types of projects. As a result, we have no guidance or policy on determining the appropriate methods and locations for their construction. We should ensure proper measures are established before proceeding with deforestation for solar panel installations. Excuse me, we recognize the precedent in our approval of the solar farm in Eddyville, as it was on a previously disturbed land and deemed an ideal location for that project. When evaluating a project's benefits to a town, we should consider that benefits aren't always financial. Quality of life and preserving natural assets are crucial. The solar farm will operate for 25 years, but it will take a century to regrow that forest. Immediate environmental impacts include wildlife loss, including endangered species habitats due to deforestation of 24 acres, runoff from deforestation and solar panels into Titan Bridge Road and Route 9W, polluted wetlands and soil erosion affecting the water table, increased greenhouse gases from clearing the existing forest. This project offers 25 years of profit for developers, leaving the town with a decimated, once vibrant forest. Keeping in mind the solar panels and trees are not at all equal, has Lightstar Renewables provided a greenhouse gas sequestration analysis or inventory for the 25-year life of the solar farm. Removal of trees that are larger than 6 inches in diameter should be minimal, according to NYSERDA standards. Clearing 24 acres is not minimal. And what about accounting for the mining, transporting, and installation of the solar farm, adding more carbon to the environment during the building with now fewer trees to offset the carbon emissions? Townofulstercitizens.org supports the installation of solar panel projects and the environmental benefits of solar energy, which includes cost savings to customers and the tax base these projects can provide to our town. The town of Ulster has plenty of commercial rooftops, parking lots, and vacant parcels on which to locate solar panels without the need to fell a forest. These are places we should be encouraging businesses to add solar panels on already impervious surfaces and rooftops. We're also urging you to be mindful about the cumulative impacts of this solar farm with the Whitestone Development Partners proposal right next to it. Another point to consider is the need for NYSO, New York Independent System Operator, and Central Hudson to expand the grid. The current limitations on solar farm locations are due to the necessity of easy grid connection to remain profitable. An expanded grid would provide more options for solar farm placement. This is something we should all be advocating for. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Joanne? Mary Jo, I'm sorry.
Hey, Bill.
Touche.
My name is Mary Frederick, and I live on Glen Erie Boulevard. I'm just gonna echo some things that I've said in the past. I am still working my way through the entire comprehensive plan from 2007, but it specifically points out very early in the document that we should protect the ridge, and it's exactly where this development as well as the luxury homes. And I'm having a really hard time accepting the fact that 25 to 30 years is a temporary project. Unfortunately, most of us won't be here to see it removed. So between protecting the ridge and calling it a temporary project, I have lots of concerns. I'm going to ask the town again to take a look at the 800 units for iPark 87, the 100 units for the hotel, the 298 units for the luxury townhomes, and now we have this solar farm, and this is all in that same area. And I think, once again, instead of looking at each of these projects separately, I think we really do need to step back and look at what's gonna happen to the entire area. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any additional comments? But this is public comment, Olivia. Seeing none? Oh, we have a real fast hand there.
I was waiting for something. So my name is Amy Deacher. I'm a Ulster County resident. I echo everything that was said. I strongly oppose this project and anything at the Ridge. Go back to Boston. We don't need here. This is ridiculous. This, just like Mary Jo said, way too much for that infrastructure. We don't have infrastructure. There's just gonna be so many environmental impact, this study, that study, please, it's all hypothesis of what could happen. We don't know for sure. And the bottom line is another piece of this, let's take it all together, compile it, look at it, just like Mary Jo said. But I also feel, you know, the town, the planning board, you guys are here to advocate for us. You know, you're our voice. So we really need to advocate for us. We don't want this. So I can't understand how we got this far, to be very honest. You know, it's just, you know, line pockets and, you know, that doesn't matter. The quality of life and what you're going to ruin in the process is just absurd. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Got to know.
Ma'am?
Mary Goldenberger, 278 Glenary Boulevard. I agree with all the comments that were made. I just wanted to address the board to say, we're looking at a project that will impact our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. So do we want to clear cut something that's going to take carbon emissions out of Ulster County by clear cutting a forest for a project that they consider temporary for 25 years? Yes, that is a long time, but in 25 years, are those solar panels, when they reach the end of their life, is the company going to come in and replace them and continue this solar panel company, or are they just going to leave? And then we've now cut an entire forest, which gives us no carbon way to reduce carbon from our environment, and we're left with vacant land. And it's going to take more than 25 years to regrow that forest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Mr. Secreto,
Make a motion, close the public hearing.
do we have a second?
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have closed the public comment section, but we allow, as part of our policy, written comments.
Hold on, Jim.
Hold on, Jim. There's somebody who didn't hear us.
I didn't see a hand.
Make a motion to open up the public hearing.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Live in Titan Ridge Road, and I walk all the woods and so many beautiful big oak trees over there. And I just sorry for the trees for this project and cut down. Just I want to say.
Thank you. Are there any other additional hands? Please stand up so I can see you. Yes, please.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion and
I'll
a second.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of our policies, we will accept written comments on the topic of tonight's meeting at the town clerk's office or by email for 30 days before we move forward on this. Now, this project has been reviewed by the Ulster County Planning Board. The town has not received communications from the county planning board on their review. This project was not on the planning board's agenda earlier this week. Depending upon the results of the communication from the county and the resubmissions of some of the design changes that have been discussed here tonight, this may be submitted to the planning board at the next meeting. If you are serious about continuing to maintain your vigilance on watching this project and this process, I would encourage you to show up for the town planning board. It is the second Tuesday of the month. It is in this exact same room at 7 p.m. Thank you very much, and we will return to our existing agenda. Under new business, the first item is the presentation and acceptance, the town clerk's monthly report for the month of December 2024. Ms. Reevy, is there anything that you'd like to call to the town board's attention in that report?
No.
May I have a motion to accept the report as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is presentation of local law number 1.
Excuse me, would you advise them to take it outside?
Mr. Kimball?
No.
You're not going to conduct an interview outside, you're just getting information.
Okay.
I'll hold on a second. Okay.
Thank you.
The next item is a presentation of local law number 1 of 2025, providing real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers pursuant to New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 466-A. This is a proposal to allow volunteer firefighters who serve in a district that they are not resident in to receive the benefits as legislated last year and adopted by this town board. There will be no action other than the next two items where we will be setting a public hearing for this law. The next item, I'd like a motion to dispense with the rules of the town of Ulster and schedule a public hearing for Thursday, February 6, 2025 at 7:10 p.m. on local law number 1 of 2025.
I'll make that.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Public hearing has been scheduled. The next four items will be taken as a group. They are standard practices of the town board on an annual basis where they authorize the retention of legal services from the town for the town attorney for various issues. The first matter is with Russ Wadlin for general town matters. The second item was with Rebecca Maloris Lettery for building department issues. Vanderwater and Tabner, Ryan and Kinnery for tax certiorari actions, of which there are many. I'd like a motion authorizing the supervisor to sign the 4 engagement letters as delivered to the town board.
I make that motion. And I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a standalone motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a business associate agreement with Marshall and Sterling. Marshall and Sterling is the insurance broker the town procures its health insurance through. This is a disclosure of the compensation and the obligations of Marshall and Sterling to the town. May I have a motion to authorize the execution of this document? I have a first, I have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is again a standing action by the town board at this point in the year. It is a motion authorizing the town clerk to go out to bid for the purchase of chemicals to be used during 2025 on behalf of the town of Ulster Water Department and the town of Ulster Sewer Department. May I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Secreto, the next 4 items are related to personnel matters.
You want me to, group the retirement letters?
You may.
The first one, comes from the court office.
This letter is to inform the town of Ulster that I am retiring. My last day of work in the town court office will be February 21st, 2025, and this comes from Valerie Trade. And I'd like to say she must have about 20 years on the job, and thanks for your service. The second one comes from James McGee Jr. from the Highway Department. Dear friends, please accept this letter as my official notice of my retirement from the Town of Ulster Highway Department, effective April 5th, 2025. I have enjoyed working with you and all my fellow employees for the past 30 years. If the opportunity is available, I would be happy to come back and work on a part-time basis. And this is James D. McGee Jr. And James, as we call him McGee. This also is from the Highway Department, Thomas Bevins. Dear Frank, please accept this letter as my official notice of my retirement from the Town of Ulster Highway Department, effective February 21st, 2025. I also have enjoyed working with you and all my fellow employees these past years. And this is from Thomas Bevins. And I make a motion to accept these 3 retirement letters.
I'll second that.
Tonight.
All those in favor?
Aye.
With the appreciation of the board, motion is passed for the service of these 3 individuals.
And this last one is a hire. Comes from the court office. The employee's name is Jasmine Arterio Burt. The title is court clerk. Department is the court, comes out of the general fund. Full-time position, competitive. It's a union job with local 17. Health insurance is covered. It's a grade 5, step 4, wages $21.94. Start date is January 20th, 2025. And this comes at the request of Judge Flood Myers, and I make a motion that we hire Jasmine to this new job.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Is there any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item, as we heard in the pre-meeting, relates to the acquisition by the police department of services for this police department to continue to operate efficiently and cleanly. The first item is a motion to accept the dry cleaning bid from Scanlon's and enter into a contract for 2025. May I have a motion?
I'll make that
I'll
motion.
second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is to keep our fleet running efficiently. It is a motion to accept the auto repair bid results from D&D Auto for 2025 and enter into a contract. May I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to declare 5 vehicles surplus in the water department and authorize their sale through Auctions International. May I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into old business that are carryover items from the 2025 organizational meeting. These are appointments to committees. The first appointment is the appointment of Larry Decker as a permanent member to the planning board for a 5-year term expiring in 2029. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. With the board's consent, I would like to take the next two alternates who are serving 1-year terms as a group.
That's fine.
No, I don't.
No? Okay, fine. So we will vote on the first one, Lauren Hummel, who is a former deputy town clerk in the town clerk's office in the town of Ulster for a 1-year term. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes?
Councilman Van Cleef,
Yes.
Councilman Secreto,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGroot.
No.
Thank you. Ms. Hummel is appointed 4-1. On the matter of Steve Schultes, who was moving over from the zoning board for a 1-year term, may I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a-
Second.
Do I need a roll call vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving to the appointment of the chair of the planning board. Rory Lee, by vote of the planning board, was reappointed in accordance with the bylaws when there's a vacancy. But I would ask that the town board takes and confirm the appointment through a motion and a vote.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving to the zoning board. Richard Anderson will be nominated to fill the one-year unexpired term of Steve Schultes, expiring at the end of 2025. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And in relation to an appointment of Sanjay Coutinho for a full 5-year term. Sanjay was appointed to fill the unexpired term of a former member who resigned midterm during the course, I believe, of 2024. So he will now return as a full 5-year member. May I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Mr. Van Cleek motions, Mr. Secreto seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. On the matter of the Recreation Committee members, this was a committee that was in formation during the organization meeting. It came out during the organization meeting that some people who were on the committee wanted off. And this is an active committee. We do encourage people to get involved. And this year, we have a bumper crop of people who are willing to step forward and volunteer as part of the Recreation Committee. Marguerite Hochel, Suzanne Reevy, Melanie Riker, Roseanne Koznowski, Lauren Strickland, Colleen Hack, Diane Gulnick, Stephanie Carnes, and Taylor Crispino. May I have a motion to accept them as a group?
I make that motion.
Okay, we got a first, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? As a group, they are appointed to the Recreation Committee.
You're fine.
As the organization meeting adopts certain policies and requirements of the town, the motion to adopt the records management policy was required to be revised. It has been revised in accordance with the request of the town board. I would ask for a motion to accept it as presented.
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Non-organizational business, which is old business. First item on the agenda is a motion to authorize the execution of an employment contract for the period 2025 through 2028 with Lieutenant Seyfarth. May I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, with making sure that includes authorizing the supervisor to sign it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a resolution authorizing the bidding of contract TU 251, the Town Hall exterior lighting improvement. This was a need identified by you, the people who attend our meetings late at night, earlier last year. It has taken some time to get the engineering and the design completed, but we are in the process of wrapping up the design and the contract documents to go out to bid. So I would like a motion to accept the resolution authorizing the bidding of the contract for the construction of the improved lighting at the town parking lot outside this building.
I will make that motion.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, during the past several years, we've operated with a committee structure. I am proposing 4 new committees this year. One, which has been straightforward and has been discussed in several prior meetings, is the EMS committee. It is the committee responsible for the negotiation and the documentation of the ambulance contract for the providing of ambulance services to the community. And I wish to appoint Mary Ann DeGroot and Rocco Secreto as Mr. Secreto I would hope you would say as the chairman. And that would be for the EMS committee. I would like to take these as a group, if anybody. Thank you. Water and sewer, Mr. Secreto as chairman, Ms. Hayner as a member. That is to oversee the water and sewer departments. The next item is a committee to interview a replacement town planner and to interview a comprehensive plan consultant to redo the town of Ulster comprehensive plan. This is with Mr. Van Cleek as chairman and Ms. Hayner as a member. In the next committee is a capital planning committee. I, on an annual basis, put forth a list of projects which we run through the departments for review and then are presented to the town board. This year, we're going to do it a little differently. It's an 8-page list of capital projects throughout the town. Mr. Groot, chairwoman, Mr. Van Cleek as a member. It's to prioritize the capital needs of the town based upon the projects that are identified, identify other projects that we may not have, we may not be aware of, we may not recognize the need, but they need to be elevated and to be brought forth to this body for debate and execution. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Groot is chairwoman, Mr. Van Cleek is a member. Finance, Ms. Hayner as the chairwoman, Mr. Secreto as a member. Parks and Rec, Mr. Van Cleek is chairman, Mr. Secreto is a member. Personnel, Ms. Hayner is chairwoman, and Mr. Groot as a member. I put forth these committees and ask for a motion to accept them as presented.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Better do this.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item, I will defer to Mr. Van Cleek to lead the discussion as to his concepts for the identification, or back, perhaps the definition of the process for identification of a replacement planning and consulting firm. Previous meeting, I outlined and presented to them 5 firms that I had been in contact with. That is not a exclusive list. It is not a comprehensive list. It is up to the committee to identify additional resources if they so desire, and I would hope they would move forward on this. Mr. Van Cleek?
As the rest of the board members, I received that memo last meeting. Just found out the other day that I'm chairing this, so we will work through the process as quickly as possible, but with the effort to consider both options of having a planner and a consultant for the comprehensive plan. But if it could be one, that'd be great, but if it has to be 2, it will be 2. And not aware of a requirement. I don't know if we have a requirement of a time schedule, so we'll have to look into that. So that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Groot, on the matter of the EMS committee, can you update the community on the actions that the town board have taken?
I sure can. We have met with 2 members from Ulster County Emergency Management Services, the Town of Ulster Hose Chief Hepner, and Town of Ulster Police Sergeant Rocco and myself, and we have addressed the Town of Ulster's need for ambulances for all of our citizens. We have come to a mutual agreement on the next step to resolve the EMS issue. We will now step gracefully into this next step and be the first town to initiate supply.
I'll just talk. We'll be the first town to initiate supplying ambulances to our residents. We'll be leaving it in Jason's hands. Thank you, Jason. So we can engage in the final step and hopefully have it all in place for our supervisor, everyone on this board, and everyone, and have services hopefully in place in March. That is what we're hoping to do. We took it upon ourselves. We worked through this. We've had many meetings. And I have to say thank you for the input that we've had from the public. I appreciate everybody that stepped up and told us what they expect, what they want, and what they need. And then they're not gonna get everything they want, but we'll work towards that. And result, everybody at least will have ambulances, God forbid something happens to anything at our homes, just so you know. So we're the first to do this. We'll make it happen.
Thank you. At this point, that concludes the scheduled agenda as presented by the town to the town board. I'm proud to open the floor to public comment. If anyone has any issues that they wish to call to our attention, please come to the podium.
Laura's got her hand half up.
Vicky.
For calling on me again. I just have a question. It's not an issue. And it is on a agenda item. And, I had just thought of these questions, so I figured I'd bring them up now. On the, presentation of the local law 1 in 2025 about the providing real property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance. Can I just ask a question of, this actually means that they won't be paying their property tax? Is that, am I?
Mr. Sabia, how much of a credit or abatement do they get on this $200 a year?
10%.
Yeah, it's specified percentage.
It's a specified percentage, but it's not 100%.
Thank you. And do we know, how many, people we might be, talking about here?
Well, I believe it applies to all the volunteer fire department.
I would estimate that there's probably about 125 volunteers providing services to the town of Ulster for firefighting.
Okay. And do we know how much, the amount, the total amount between all of these, people? I mean, cause it will.
It doesn't really matter.
It
It's
doesn't
only
matter.
$200 for each volunteer. It doesn't really equate to that much for all that they come and put out fires and stuff at our house.
Yeah, it's not that I'm against it.
I know you're not. No.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, you know.
We don't pay them
It's a small
anything as
percentage.
far, it's a small trivial thing.
It's
Yes.
just a thank you to them.
Oh, sure, because I know there's, volunteers are hard to get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Laura?
I just want to say, given that what we were talking about tonight, with building this solar farm or potentially, I can't help but think about what's happening in California. And what we're talking about is really deadly serious. I work in the music business. That's my regular job, my real job. And I know at least 10 musicians that have lost their homes. They've lost their instruments with which they need to work. They've lost their bodies of work, all the compositions that they've written. Fortunately, none of them lost family members, but to see their whole history, and actually that's part of America's history, the work that they do. So I just couldn't help but think about that, and that we really need to get this right when we make this decision. So
That's why we're proposing a comprehensive plan redesign committee.
and we're very grateful to be hearing that. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional? In the back?
Not your paper complaint, I just want to say thank you to the town board for taking the initiative in order to put the lighting out in the parking lot and doing the bidding. It's been a long time coming. And it's gonna be nice to see a light when you go out there and not have to use a remote control to find your car. So, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional? Ms. Lucarini again? Did Regis yield his time to you tonight?
I'm actually talking for both people, I guess.
Thank you very much for letting me come back up to the podium. I know I'm up here a lot, and I do want to thank you. About the comprehensive plan, it's one thing to redo a comprehensive plan, but then we also need to change the zoning so that so that the areas that you want protected in the comprehensive plan are protected by the law, by your zoning law, because that's the reason why we're in the position that we're in now, with this solar farm, because it's never been changed.
Any additional comment? May I have a motion to go to an executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person?
I make that motion. No, second that.
All those in favor? Aye, thank you very much.
Letters. In case you wanted.
I actually like that.
Susie, are you back on?
Yep.
It's 8:47. The town board has returned from executive session. No action was taken, no votes were taken. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I make that motion.
I will second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much and have a wonderful night.
We'll talk.